May 1st, 1994, will forever be remembered as a day that deeply impacted motorsport history. During the San Marino Grand Prix at the Imola circuit, a critical incident took place, leading to the loss of one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history, Ayrton Senna. His passing was not only deeply affecting to the world of racing, but also a pivotal moment that initiated significant changes in motorsport safety. Ayrton Senna da Silva, born on March 21st, 1960 in Sao Paulo, Brazil, displayed an extraordinary talent for racing from a young age. His Formula One career began in 1984, and he soon became one of the top drivers in the world. He won 3 world championship titles in 1988, 1990, and 1991, driving for the McLaren team. Senna was known not only for his incredible speed and skill on the track, but also for his relentless determination and pursuit of perfection. The 1994 San Marino Grand Prix started in an atmosphere of anxiety. During Friday's practice sessions at Imola, Rubens Barrichello had a serious incident, and on Saturday, April 30th, driver Roland Ratzenberger tragically lost his life, deeply affecting the paddock. On his fast lap, Ratzenberger collided with a barrier at high speed at the Villeneuve corner. The car bounced and spun around its axis, sliding for about 100 meters before stopping at the next corner. Despite these events, the race was decided to continue. On May 1st, race day, Ayrton Senna started from pole position. Despite his fears, Senna decided to race, with the thought that he must give his all to honor his late colleague, Roland Ratzenberger. In the first minute of the race, a serious incident occurred. Pedro Lamy hit the stationary Benetton of J.J. Leto. Pieces of the bodywork were scattered over a distance of 100 meters, and a wheel from one of the cars flew into the stands, injuring 9 people. The safety car was deployed on the track. After the race resumed, Senna immediately took the lead, followed by Michael Schumacher. On the second lap after the restart, both drivers entered the famous Tamburello corner, a fast, gentle left-hand bend that always required maximum focus and precision, at over 300 kilometers per hour. At that moment, without warning, Senna's car, the Williams FW16, suddenly veered off the track. Senna, fighting with the steering wheel, tried to regain control, but the car was unmanageable. In a split second, the car crashed into the barrier at tremendous speed. The moment was dramatic. The audience held its breath, and silence fell over the track. Rescue workers immediately rushed to the scene. Among them was Dr. Sid Watkins, Formula One's chief medical officer and a close friend of Senna, who had, driven by premonitions, advised his friend not to race, even suggesting retirement. Despite their quick intervention, it was clear at first glance that the situation was critical. Senna was quickly transported to the Maggiore Hospital in Bologna, but his injuries were too serious. He had sustained grave injuries affecting brain function, and he was in a deep coma. There were no external injuries to the chest or abdomen. At 6:05 p.m., Dr. Maria Teresa Fiandri announced that Senna was in a state of clinical distress. He remained on life support. At 6:40 p.m., Ayrton Senna's passing was confirmed. The cause was severe head injuries caused by a suspension component that penetrated his helmet. The investigation into Ayrton Senna's incident was lengthy, and its findings were the subject of much discussion and controversy. It was ultimately determined that the situation was caused by a steering column failure, which had broken due to modifications requested by Senna himself. At the moment of impact, fragments of the front wheel suspension compromised the driver's helmet, leading to devastating head injuries. Ayrton Senna's passing shocked not only the sports world, but society at large. Thousands attended his funeral in Brazil, and fans worldwide mourned. His loss marked a turning point that forced Formula One authorities to take decisive steps to improve safety on the racetracks. Since 1994, numerous new regulations have been implemented to protect drivers. Car structures have been strengthened, rigorous crash tests introduced, protective barriers improved, and requirements for helmets and protective clothing increased. These changes have made Formula One much safer, with a dramatic reduction in serious incidents. Ayrton Senna remains an icon of Formula One and a symbol of the highest sporting excellence. His determination, passion, and talent continue to inspire new generations of drivers. The Ayrton Senna Foundation, established by his family, works to support education and children in Brazil, continuing the driver's legacy in a way that extends beyond sport. Ayrton Senna's incident is one of the most impactful moments in Formula One history, but also a moment that changed the sport for the better. His life and career remain unforgettable, and the impact of his passing on racing safety is invaluable. Ayrton Senna will forever be remembered as one of the greatest Formula One champions, whose passion and talent won the hearts of millions of fans around the world. On October 25, 1999, all of America watched with bated breath as a small business jet, supposed to fly from Orlando, Florida, to Dallas, Texas, turned into a ghost plane with no one knowing what was happening to the crew and the 4 passengers on board. One of those passengers was Payne Stewart, one of the most recognizable and charismatic golfers of his time. Born on January 30th, 1957, in Springfield, Missouri, his professional career began in 1979, and thanks to his unique style both on and off the golf course, he quickly gained popularity. Stewart was known for his classic attire, reminiscent of the old days of golf, including his characteristic knickerbockers and caps. In his career, he won 11 titles on the PGA Tour, including 3 major championships, the U.S. Open in 1991 and 1999, and the PGA Championship in 1989. On October 25, 1999, Stewart was flying from Orlando to Dallas to attend a meeting with a tournament promoter. He was traveling on a private Learjet 35, one of the most popular business jets. The Learjet 35 is a twin-engine jet known for its high cruising speed and range of about 2,000 nautical miles, approximately 3,700 kilometers. The plane took off at 9:19 a.m. from Orlando Airport. Besides Stewart, on board were his agent Robert Fraley, co-founder of the sports agency Van Arden, golfer Bruce Borland, and 2 pilots, Michael Kling and Stephanie Bellegarigue. At 9:27 a.m., there was the last known communication from the pilot to the control tower in Jacksonville. Further attempts to communicate with the pilot failed. Instead of turning west toward Dallas, the plane continued to fly north. There was a risk that the plane might crash into one of the densely populated areas of the USA, so a decision was made to send F-16 fighter jets to intercept the Learjet. The first F-16 dispatched to locate and check the Learjet came from Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. The fighter jet reached the Learjet shortly after air traffic control lost contact with it. The F-16 pilot, Colonel Olson, reported that the cockpit windows were fogged up, suggesting a cabin pressure problem. As the Learjet continued its flight northward, additional F-16 were dispatched to monitor it. In total, 4 F-16 from various military bases intercepted the Learjet at different stages of its flight. The fighters came from bases in Oklahoma City, McConnell in Kansas, Fargo in North Dakota, and Eglin Air Force Base. Each F-16 pilot attempted to establish visual and radio contact with the Learjet crew, but to no avail. The pilots observed no signs of life in the cockpit and no response to radio signals. The plane, escorted by F-16, continued its autopilot flight for nearly 4 hours until it ran out of fuel. At 12:13 p.m. local time, the plane began to lose altitude and, within 2 minutes, crashed at near supersonic speed in a remote area near Aberdeen, South Dakota. No one survived. An investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board found that the probable cause of the crash was cabin decompression, which led to the loss of consciousness of the crew and passengers. Due to the unnoticed decompression, the crew did not receive enough oxygen, resulting in hypoxia, a state of oxygen deficiency in the brain, leading to irreversible coma and subsequent permanent unconsciousness. They were unable to control the aircraft or contact air traffic control. This tragedy shocked the sports world and left a deep mark in the hearts of golf fans worldwide. Payne Stewart is remembered not only as an outstanding golfer, but also as a person with a great heart and charisma. His style, passion for golf, and tireless sports spirit remain an inspiration for many young athletes. After his passing, the Payne Stewart Award was established, given to golfers for their contributions to community development and the sporting ethos that Stewart represented throughout his life. On the dark and stormy night of January 21st, 2019, over the English Channel, a tragedy occurred that shook the football world and left an indelible mark on the hearts of fans. Emiliano Sala, a talented Argentine forward who had just signed a contract with Cardiff City, embarked on his final journey, which ended in tragedy. Sala, fresh from signing a record £15 million contract, was leaving his former club, FC Nantes, with hopes of a new chapter in his career. The Piper PA-46 Malibu plane he was traveling and disappeared from radar shortly after taking off from Nantes Airport, heading towards Cardiff. On board with him was only the pilot, David Ibbotson. The night was dark, and the weather conditions were far from ideal. As the plane approached the British coast, storms and strong winds turned the flight into a nightmare. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, contact with the plane was lost. Emiliano Sala allegedly sent an audio message from the plane to his friends via WhatsApp, which was published by Argentine media, somewhat confirming the difficult situation of the flight. The translated version reads as follows.
Hola hermanitos, ¿cómo andan loquitos locos? Hermano, estoy muerto. Estuve acá antes haciendo cosas y no termina más. Así que nada, muchachos. Estoy acá arriba del avión que me parece que se está cae a pedazos. Y me estoy yendo para Cardiff, loco, que mañana sí, ya arrancamos. A la tarde arrancamos a entrenar, muchachos, con el nuevo equipo. A ver qué pasa. Así que, ¿cómo andan ustedes, hermanito? ¿Todo bien? Si en 1 hora y media no tienen novedades mías, no sé si van a mandar a alguien a buscarme porque no me van a encontrar, pero ya saben. Papá, qué miedo que tengo.
For several days, intensive searches were conducted, and hopes of finding survivors dwindled with each passing hour. The initial extensive search efforts yielded nothing. The authorities called off the search, but widespread public outcry, including pleas from such figures as Leo Messi, Diego Maradona, and the president of Argentina, led to the resumption of the search. Finally, on February 3rd, thanks to sonar scanning of the seabed, the wreckage of the plane was found at the bottom of the English Channel at a depth of about 63 meters. Inside, the body of Emiliano Sala was discovered. The body of pilot David Ibbotson was never found. An autopsy revealed that Sala lost his life due to injuries sustained in the crash, but traces of carbon monoxide were also found in his blood. This suggested that both he and the pilot may have been unconscious or severely impaired before the tragic crash occurred. The investigation revealed that the plane was not licensed for commercial flights, and the pilot was not certified to operate such flights or to fly at night. This raised numerous questions and controversies about flight safety and the responsibilities of those involved in organizing the flight. Emiliano Sala, just 28 years old, was at the peak of his career. His untimely loss was a painful blow to his family, friends, teammates, and countless fans around the world. Mourning ceremonies were held in Nantes and Cardiff, where thousands of people paid tribute to the footballer who left us before he could fully spread his wings.